Good morning. I will talking about failure analysis of a parabolic spring belonging to a railway agents, and the authors of this paper are Virginia Infante, Manuel Freitas and Ricardo Batista. The failure analysis was about the complete fracture of the spring leaves 1 and 2 near the clamping system, as you can see in the picture, and it was observed fracture on the same time and series in different sets, call it box 6, box 7 and 437 Mangualde. The main objective of the work it was to perform a detailed analysis of the springs, and it was divided in the identification of the spring material by analyzing the chemical composition. It was also perform a metallographic analysis to determine the material microstructure and possible mechanical and metallurgical defects. We perform the uniaxial tensile tests and hardness tests, and the fracture surface observations to determine the possible causes of failure by visual analysis and using an optical microscopy analysis with low magnification of the fracture zone in order to characterize the type of fracture, and the scanning electronic microscopy analysis to identify the initial crack propagation zone and the different mechanisms of fracture. Finally, it was determined the stresses and strain distribution by finite element analysis. As I said before, the fracture surface are from 3 different sets, namely the box 6, box 7 and 437 Mangualde, and we observed the fracture surface of the leaves 1 and 2. To characterize the material, we used the X-ray technique, and it was found that the material is a high carbon steel with chromium and manganese. The microstructure of the materials is martensite, typical of a steel with a heat treatment of quenching followed by tempering. For the uniaxial tensile tests, we decide to remove the specimens from the leaves, as you can see in the picture, and we use the dimensions specified by the standard. From the tensile tests, it's possible to verify that the values obtained are very similar in the different specimens tested, and it can be concluded that the material of the spring has similar mechanical characteristics. It can be seen also that all the maximum stress values calculated, with the exception of one, highlighted in red here in the table, are slightly below than the values specified in the UIC 517. From the hardness test, we can conclude that there is no evidence between the hardness values in the clamping system compared to the other values, and these values are between a range from 521 until 545, with a mean value equal to 531 hardness Vickers. From the fracture surfaces observation, we can conclude that in both zones of leaf 1 it is possible to see 2 different distinct zones. One where the fracture approached the stress concentration, indicating and cracks initiation zone that slowly propagate along the surface, causing the fracture, and others further away where propagation is faster until the final fracture. Concerning leaves 2, and comparing the morphology of leaf 2 cracks with those of leaf 1, it can be concluded that they are similar, indicating that both leaves are subjected to the same type of loading. It is also possible to conclude that the fatigue crack initiation are not due to the material surface defects, since the initiation of all cracks took place in the same area of the component. The scanning electron microscopy analysis of the fracture surfaces show several small radial lines from the fracture initiation forks, and in both leaf 1 and leaf 2 we can observe beach marks and striations. We can also observe the absence of defects that promotes the initiation of fatigue rock. A second part of the study, it was the calculation of the stress and strain distribution using definite element analysis, and the first step it was to draw using a CAD program the geometry of the leaves, and we decide to modulate it only 1/4 of the component due to symmetry reasons. In terms of boundary conditions, for leaf 1 it was allowed to rotate, but the translation degrees of freedom of the eye are fixed in order to simulate the correct functioning of the suspension. In the base of the clamping system, only translation on the vertical axis was allowed. The simulations are divided in two loading conditions. The first one, it was a pre-stress loaded of 510 kilonewtons, and the maximum stress obtained it was equal to 448 megapascal, located at the lower corner of the clamping system, and the mean compression stress of 100 megapascal between the upper and lower corners of the clamping system. The second loading condition, it was the application of a vertical force of 200 kilonewtons, and the maximum stress on the leaves for this condition occur in the two different zones, in the central section and along the distance to the center section, in section where the relationships between the leaf thickness reduction and the resulting bending moments is more unfavorable. The stress distribution in the normal direction, it was also obtained, and it can be observed that the maximum stress occurs in the upper zone of the central sections of the leaves, with a maximum value of 940 megapascal in the leaf number 2, concerning the 200 kilonewtons of vertical load applied. The safety factor was obtained using the Goodman criterion, concerning the stress amplitude, the mean stress, the fatigue limit stress equal to 700 megapascal, and the ultimate stress equal to 1450 megapascal, and for the maximum load normal stress equal to 200 kilonewtons, we obtain a safety factor equal to 1.15 for leaf number 1 and equal to 1.01 for leaf number 2. Concluding, the material corresponds to a high-strength steel with heat treatment by quenching and tempering. The tensile tests show that the values obtained are very similar in the different specimens tested, and the maximum stress values are slightly below the range specified in the standard. The variation of the hardness profile along the leaf's thickness showed that there is no difference between the hardness values in the contact zone with the clamping system compared to the other values. The fracture of leaves 1 and 2 started in the contact zone of leaves 1 and 2. On leaf 1, the fracture started at the contact zone with the clamping system. The propagation of fatigue cracks is more pronounced and extensive on leaf 2 than on leaf 1. Therefore, it can be concluded that fatigue cracks started first in leaf 2. From the numerical simulation, it is possible to conclude that the maximum stresses occur in the two different zones, in the central section of the blade and along the distance to the central section. in the sections where the relationship between the reduction in leaf thickness and the resulting bending moment is most unfavorable. Goodman's criterion shows a safety factor approximately equal to 1 for a vertical force of 200 kilonewtons on leaves 1 and 2. Therefore, it can be concluded that this value is not sufficient to prevent fatigue further. And that's all. Thank you for your attention.